now to discuss it all is Democratic Congressman Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. He is running for the state's open Senate seat.
Congressman, good to have you. You're one of the lawmakers who has been denied entry to an ICE facility. Tell us why you were there, what happened, and what it tells us about the current state of our democracy.
Essentially, hundreds, if not thousands, of local residents in the Chicagoland area were basically summoned to an ICE facility in the South Loop section of Chicago, telling them to, quote unquote, check in for their routine casework as they try to build their status in this country. Many of them reported to this facility, including on Father's Day, and many of these, mainly men, were snatched by ICE agents, separated from their families, and they haven't been heard from since. As a consequence of that, Congressman Jonathan Jackson, in whose district that facility is located, and myself visited that ICE facility and were met with a masked ICE agent who refused to answer our questions, refused to identify himself, and then on top of it all, he called the Chicago police to evict us as trespassers.
So further to that, Congressman, you have the New York Times reporting that ICE is now imposing new rules on congressional visits, noting under federal law, members of Congress can make an unannounced oversight visits to immigration facilities that, quote, detain or otherwise house aliens. Lawmakers are not required to provide prior notice of the intent to enter a facility to conduct oversight, though members of their staff must request a visit at least 24 hours in advance. But in guidance released this month, Immigration and ICE and Customs Enforcement asked members of Congress to give at least 72 hours notice for a visit to its facilities. The question, Congressman, they couldn't do it for 24 hours. What makes you think they're going to follow the rules at 72 hours?
I don't think they will, Michael. I think that this is just another way to kind of delay the oversight that is really needed right now. When we went to this masked ICE agent, he wouldn't even be willing to tell us if any of these people who were summoned to that particular facility were being detained there. And so I think that we have to continue to press hard. I agree with Senator Padilla, by the way, that they're acting out of fear. They have something to hide. And we have to continue to shine a light on this issue because only by making sure the public is aware of what's happening can we kind of marshal the energy and what is needed to change the situation. But of course, more is needed than that. And I've called for Kristi Noem to testify before the House Oversight Committee. I just sent a letter today as well, demanding access to the facility where we were refused. And we're going to pursue this.
What has House Democratic leadership said about that letter? Are they in support of? Did they echo? Did Leader Jeffries sign on to it?
Leader Jeffries has been very supportive of all these efforts, especially from the Oversight Committee, which has broad jurisdiction over these different facilities, including ICE. And so we're going to keep pressing. This is not an issue that's unfortunately going away because, as you can tell, Donald Trump is trying to militarize the situation even more. He's specifically said he's going to target, quote unquote, Democratic-run cities like Chicago and New York and LA. And so the way that he has partisanized this is also making it clear that, we have to act and we have to act forcefully.
Can we pull up that letter from Congressman Raskin to FBI Director Kash Patel? It reads, this assault on Senator Padilla is another vivid episode of authoritarian tactics and brute force being used to crush oversight and critical questioning, including from sitting members of Congress exercising their constitutional duty. I wonder both what your expectations are of Director Patel, and also if you could speak to the fact that we're talking about oversight in the context of immigration facilities currently, but this is a bigger question about congressional oversight. Where else are you concerned that this might apply?
Well, as you know, we've been pressing hard on DOJ. We've been pressing hard with regard to access to our private data that has, in my opinion, been illegally accessed by the Trump administration and their DOJ employees. But you're right. There's just a lack of accountability here. This is a through line with regard to the Trump administration. You see it with regard to what we talked about with ICE, but you also see it with regard to, as you pointed out, what's happening in the context of other areas of the law, whether it's tariffs, another area where, again, the president seems to be unaccountable to Congress in terms of unleashing economic chaos across the landscape with his tariff increases. And of course, the deployment of troops on American soil. There's no accountability there either. And what we saw on the No King's Day rallies, where thousands and thousands of people showed up, I attended 3 of them, is that we rejected a king in 1776, and we're not going to accept one now.
Congressman,